SCPs. What the hell are they? Secure, contain, protect, right? I'm not gonna go into when these things started popping up. I would assume the early 2000s, you know? Maybe 90s? I don't know. I couldn't say for sure. All I know is my job is to get down and research all of these documents. The first one being SCP number 2852, aka Cousin Johnny. Better light a cigarette up for this one, huh? It's hard out there being an SCP file agent. Oh, okay. Nope. Okay. Ah, the good stuff. Okay. Let me open up my file. This is SCP-2852, aka Cousin Johnny, and this is an object class in level Keter. Which you probably wonder what a Keter class is, which all of these SCPs are broken up into classes, and this is a Keter class, alright? Are you following along? I hope you fucking are. A Keter class is SCPs are anomalies that are exceedingly difficult to contain consistently or reliably. Hey, just like me during bath time when I was a baby. Right? With containment procedures often being extensive and complex, the Foundation often can contain these SCPs well due to not having a solid understanding of the anomaly or lacking the technology to properly contain or counter it. A Keter SCP does not mean the SCP is dangerous, just that it is simply very difficult or costly to contain. Which the thing about SCP-2852, which is really interesting, this is something that can affect everybody, all right? I have a couple family members of my own who I've suspected to be little SCP-2852. SCP-2852, which I'm just going to say Cousin Johnny because I'm not going to keep saying fucking SCP-2852 all day. What the hell am I? All right. Instances of Cousin Johnny have the appearances of a middle-aged white male biologically. The cells of Cousin Johnny instances are genetically identical in human. However, instances do not have any identifiable organs. My God. Their bodies are made up of fibrous muscular tissue with the teeth and hair made out of chitin chemically similar to those of the cicada family. So these son of a bitches, they look like men, they walk around like men, but they have the anatomy or the composition of which their bodies are made of are that of bugs, cicadas, the fucking dive bombers themselves. You ever been hit in the face by a cicada? Terrible. It's like someone throwing a rock at your face. It's unbelievable. The eyes of Cousin Johnny instances, while looking non-anomalous from a distance, are set in the sockets without any nerve connection. While capable of speech despite having no vocal cords or analogous organs, Cousin Johnny does not show any grasp of language, speaking in a word salad. What's a word salad? Just kind of jumbling random words together into no coherent sentence. Despite this, all individuals at the SCP-2852 compatible event will perceive the subject as speaking intelligibly and will regard its actions as normal, unless briefed of its anomalous properties beforehand. Individuals describe SCP-2852 as being playful with a crude sense of humor, and all individuals affected in an SCP-2852 event will refer to the subject as Cousin Johnny, while sentient SCP-2852 instances do not appear sapient. What does sapient mean?
Wise, or attempting to appear wise.
So basically, here's the thing. It appears to you as like a family member, that your family just believes that this person belongs here, right? It talks to you and you can understand what it's saying, but if someone else heard it from afar, it would sound like random words put together. It'd be just a man being like, potatoes, scissors, potatoes, blah, 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 blah. And you would be like, what the fuck is going on with this man? This is what I'm afraid of, even in my own family. There's a couple members of my own family where I'm like, I don't know if I trust this. But where would you find these people at? Cousin Johnny or the SCP-2852, it doesn't just show up anywhere, right? It seems to be showing up in very specific places, such as various Catholic and Anglican religious functions, and are treated as being an established member of the family. They show up to churches, and they're just there. They're dressed up in their Sunday best, and they are treated as one of your family members, and a parasitic entity is entering in your family, and everybody there is just like, oh yeah, Cousin Johnny? Oh, definitely. Oh yeah, let him touch the kid. Let him baptize the kid. Fuck the pastor, fuck the priest. priest. Let him baptize the kid. Why not? Instances of the 2852 are accepted regardless of family members' resemblance or ethnicity. Wow, that's fucking crazy. You could have a white cousin Johnny show up to a black family and they're just like, definitely. Biologically a member of this family, for sure. You know what I mean? The entity appears at baptisms, weddings, and funerals. And these instances are each their own level, color-coded levels, which they're referred to as a blue level, a white level, and a black level events, respectively. Currently, no SCP-2852 instance has been found to appear at any other family gathering. So we're talking, you know, they don't show up at birthdays. You know, if it's your Sweet 16, I don't think you're going to see cousin Johnny showing up to that. I think even the parasites know. Like, we don't want any part of that. All attempts at tracking SCP-2852 instances before and after an event have met with failure. The entities are able to appear as such events as though they had always been there. I love that. They show up and they're just like, ooh, traffic is rough. Yeah, I've been here for about 25 minutes. They just got there. Just lying about how they got there, when they've been there. No one really even knows how the hell they got there. They just kind of show up, which is so creepy. I love it. Alternately, appearing between frames when under surveillance or simply evading any attempt by operatives to keep them out of an event. All tracking devices placed on SCP-2852 instances have been malfunctioned immediately, with the entity evading any surveillance, which is kind of creepy. This monster entity knows how to infiltrate places and knows how to stay off camera, always kind of be out of the frame. It's never in a place where you can have a record of it. The only record that you have is hearsay, people's memories of these things, people who maybe were able to see past its illusion, which is very, very rare, which is also what makes this thing so fucking tricky to catch. Each family gathering at the SCP-2852 attends results in different behaviors from the subject and different effects. Generally, the effects of SCP-2852 appearing at a family gathering result in more serious damage done to children, although adults are not free from its effects. It is worth noting that stopping an SCP-2852 instance before it involves itself in religious ritual will not stop its effects from spreading, although they may be diluted. The appearances of the SCP-2852 at an event is enough for its effects to start spreading among the family. When questioned after the event, an affected individual report is a feeling of fondness toward SCP-2852 regardless of the actions during the event. I mean, here's the thing. Before we get into each one of these levels, because we will be getting directly into the blue level, the white level, and the black level, what's crazy about this is that from this document, we can see that this thing can go in, it mostly preys on children, which is horrific, especially from a family standpoint. I mean, think about all the instances of family trauma, everything, except now it's a monster disguising itself to be something that is, you know, somewhat familiar. It's supposed to be familial, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be a member of your family. It could go to a child, break its arm, fucking smash its toes, eat its fucking spleen, and when you question the kid about it, it's gonna be like, oh, yeah, cousin Johnny, such a jokester. You know what I mean? Always quick-witted. Has the best green bean casserole you've ever had in your life. Horrifying. And then you're like, did you know that guy actually broke your arm? He smashed your toes and he stabbed you in the neck. And you're just like, great guy. One of the best parallel parkers I've ever seen in my life, for real. But regardless of all that, let's get into the aspect of the levels here. So let's figure out what exactly is a blue level event with an SCP-2852, which the SCP-2852 effects at a blue level are present more strongly in the child being baptized. The blue level is all about baptisms. Its parents and any godparents chosen for the occasion during the baptism ritual. SCP-2852 will involve itself directly in the proceedings. I love that. Acting as a third godparent, which traditionally there are only two, of male and female, but cousin Johnny just he puts himself in. He is the literal third wheel. Imagine being the godparent at a baptism. All of a sudden you feel kind of funny. Somebody kind of shows up, they're just like, I would like to baptize the child as well and look after him. And you're like, oh my god, cousin, it's so good to see you. That's awesome. And then the priest is looking at you and a guy's just like, baked potato scissors, salad, sandwich and cheese. Would you like that I put it on top of the fridge later? Makes no sense. And then people are like, oh god, you're always so quick-witted, cousin Johnny. We love you. Horrifying. He just comes in and there's just a third party, which is actually kind of coincidentally, if you go to somebody, like, for God forbid, why would you ever go to a friend's baptism? This is in 1855. Is it really an event now that you have to go to? I doubt it. But if you did go and you saw that, maybe it's your buddy's son's christening, right? You're there in the back of the church. A third god member, like a third godfather. You see the godfather, the godmother, and then there's just a third, a god cousin, as it were. Awfully suspicious. Something to keep an eye out for. Immediately, the child's top layer of skin will slough off in one piece. What? What? What kind of, what? That is a jump in the sentence. So, blue level events proceed identically, despite the presence of a third godparent, until the child is submerged into the water. And then immediately, the child's top layer of skin will slough off in one piece as though molting? You're saying that the baby's skin will be like the top layer of its skin on pudding? What? This process does not seem to harm the child in any meaningful way. How? I want to know how. The godparents will then eat the skin between each other. Oh my God. Does this mean Cousin Johnny too? Afterwards, the mass will go on as normal. SCP-2852 will exit along with the family. It is of note that SCP-2852 does not appear at any family celebration held after the baptism. He doesn't even show up for the buffet. He doesn't even show up for the buffet afterwards. What the hell is this monster? What I want to know is this. It doesn't specify in the document, but if I had to suggest, right? Let me paint a little picture for you. You're sitting there. The priest is like, I baptize this for the Father, the Son, in the Holy Ghost. And then he baptized him down. And then it's a beautiful family. And then there's just one fucking odd duck standing there. And he's just like, watch this, watch. He says, he bumps the Godfather. Check this out. Puts it in. Do you think the water boils? Do you think the water boils when the baby's ducked in? Like it's a fryer? I don't think it does. I think that the baby goes in, and as you pull it out, the baby's skin just slides off in one piece. And what's crazy is the baby doesn't even care! The baby doesn't care! The baby's just sitting there. It's like... They're like, oh, look how happy he is. They're totally fucking deluded. They have no idea. Probably because I imagine Cousin Johnny puts his hand on their shoulder and he's just like, congratulations on the baptism. And then, if anything, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go on a limb here and say that he takes the baby's skin out of the water, plucks it out, and then dangles it in front of him. And then the parents are like holding the child with one hand, but then they're kind of like ripping the soggy skin with the other hands and just ripping it apart, and they're just all eating it. I almost think that Cousin Johnny doesn't even eat it. It's like almost like he hypnotizes the parents into doing this crazy act. That's what I'm thinking. I could be misinterpreting this. He could be eating it along with him, but I'm thinking that the godparents it's like a fucked up sadistic ritual to where they're consuming the flesh of their own child. Who knows? You know what? Maybe they cut a little piece off, like a little pizza roll, and give it to Cousin Johnny. Maybe that's why he doesn't go to the buffet. He's fucking stuffed. The baptized child has a chance of dying within the next 6 months. Oh, is it because of the skin being gone? Hello? My God. Well above the national average. Living children exhibit multiple cluster B personality disorder. Most join anti-capitalist groups. Anti-capitalist groups, are we talking about? Are they just like, are you saying that, are they just like Bernie bros? Is that what that means? What does that mean? I'm saying I'm reading this document. All right, I did not write that. Which various GOIs, or if unchecked, will engage in destructive behavior, usually manifesting in self-harm, abuse of animals, or abuse of small children. Interesting. Godparents and biological parents will be rendered sterile, regardless of SCP's 2852 success in becoming part of the baptism ritual. Both groups commit unaliving within 5 years of a blue level event, normally through drowning. Wow! So it's saying that even regardless, like let's say Cousin Johnny tries his best to get up there, even if he's just at the baptism, the kid is going to, I'm guessing, just become a deranged socialist that kills animals and beats children. You almost just hope the kid died at that point. If he's going to kill animals and beat children and become an even more destructive person, you almost hope that the baby dies. Unfortunately, I don't want it to grow up and hurt other people. It's politics I'm not going to get into. I'm not going to touch that. But I will say, that's pretty brutal. That no matter what, too, the biological and the godparents drown themselves. So symbolic of the baptism itself, almost trying to wash away their own sins after the fact. It almost makes me think, are they ridden with guilt after the fact? Does Cousin Johnny plague their minds after the fact with this horrendous thing that's happened and all of the crazy accolades and negative things that, you know, their own child grew up to be? Is it just too much for them where they have to cleanse themselves as well? Very, very creepy. Just want to say that. Just want to put that out there. I know that it's an obvious statement at this point, but, you know, this is my job. I sit at this desk and I read these things and I have no one else to talk to. So I have to talk to you. All individuals not involved in the baptismal ritual are 500% more likely than the national average to have stillbirths. That's unfortunate. Those who are still capable of having children are far more likely to abandon them, sometimes allowing the children to die in the process. My God. One couple affected by a blue level event in Ohio gave birth to triplets, which they then tore apart and hung from trees around their property. My God. I need to find a new job. I used to sell rugs. That's kind of the big thing I did, and now I'm here. This is just horrible. You know what this is also telling me immediately before I even keep finishing this Blueville entry? Never go to someone's baptism. That's what. Why even risk it at this point? Hey, here's rule number 1 coming from me. Never go to a baptism. I would say, if anything, have the baptism at your home. Well, fuck. Well, I bet Cousin Johnny. Well, no, because I feel like he's more attracted to that. It's a big church-like event, and then he goes there and he weasels his way in. But even if you tried ducking around the rules, I wonder if he just shows up to your house anyways. You know what I mean? Just shows up to your house all of a sudden. You're making chicken pot pie. Ooh, actually, that's an interesting thought too, because if he doesn't come to the after party, right? From the ceremony. I wonder if you have the baptism at your house, if you can get around that because you're already at the buffet and he doesn't fuck with that. Interesting. I don't know. Past adolescence and into adulthood, children exposed to the song of cicadas respond with extreme anxiety and accompanying physical symptoms such as dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and headaches. Some subjects' agitation escalates into violent outbursts, which have resulted in at least 20 fatalities. My God. When interviewed about the cause of their disturbances, no subject has ever identified cicada song as a trigger for their episodes. Even in one interview involving level V enhanced interrogation, the subject never indicated the role of cicada song and its attack on parish. We don't know which parish it is. Resulted in 18 dead and 10 wounded, including his parents and 3 siblings. My God. Oh, level 5, my bad. Little V. So, cicada song, is it just saying like a group of cicadas being like, or is there an actual cicada song? That's horrible, though. I mean, resulting in murder and all that kind of stuff. Blue level, I honestly thought blue level was not going to be as bad. Blue level is bad. But we go directly into white level, which white level is a marriage ceremony. Weddings. White levels are weddings, appropriate for the attire, right? During a marriage ceremony, SCP-2852 will insert itself as a groomsman, and its most deleterious? What the hell is that word? Wow, deleterious, which for people who are smooth-brained like I, means harmful or dangerous, right? Anomalous effects will only manifest after the vows. Ooh, that's fun. I love that. Shit goes down whenever the vows are done. To love and hold, blah, blah, blah. And then just shit is about to fucking hit the fan. That is fucked up. Not that I want that for anybody. All right? After the rings have been exchanged, SCP-2852 will produce various implements that allow the bridesmaids and grooms to pull out their teeth one by one. What? What does that mean? Let me look. What? Will produce various implements to allow the bridesmaids and groomsmen to pull out their own teeth one by one. So is he just like waiting for them to put the rings on? He like taps their shoulder. He's like, "Hey, take this wrench. Take this wrench and put it in your mouth," and they just start ripping out their teeth, and they're smiling. That is fucked up. The individuals seem to be oblivious to any pain that would normally take place during such an event and blood loss. Brides and groom will be presented with the teeth and will eat them. Oh, what? Tear out their teeth and eat them. Damage done to the bride and groom's teeth and jaw are extensive, but any blood loss that occurs will not be fatal. The groom will then, in place of vows, vocalize currently unknown cicada song, that's hilarious, which has been known to reach 140 decibels, rendering the bride and those on the altar deaf. Currently, no groom has been deafened by his own call. So, Cousin Johnny goes up there with what is assumed to be some kind of tool that gives the brides and groom, they rip out their own teeth, and then the groomsman does a cicada. How the fuck does a groomsman do a cicada call? It has to be loud enough that it also deafens the bridesmaids. And also, it's kind of interesting. I wonder why it doesn't deafen himself. You know what I mean? Why doesn't it deafen himself? Too many questions. Which I'll say this too. I like that the little inclusion here of the blood loss isn't enough to kill somebody. So it's like, really, so far what we're seeing is Cousin Johnny, he likes watching people squirm. He likes watching them suffer. He doesn't want to kill them. He just wants to fuck shit up at these family events, which everybody else would never want to go to. Have you ever been to a wedding before? Awful. If you're not the one getting married and the attention is on you and everything, awful. At the wedding reception, SCP-2852 will take the role of the best man and give a speech. That's awesome.
Honestly, hey, Tim's a great guy. I guess we can all agree on that.
And then, like, the people who are working the bar just hear a guy speaking in the microphone being like... This speech, as all vocalizations of the SCP-2852, will be nonsensical with no patterns to the words used. Individuals will react to the speech with mixed emotions, some crying uncontrollably, and others falling into hysterical laughter. SCP-2852 will produce a gift for the married couple. This gift currently has always been 3.5 kilograms of human hair of various colors. 13 deceased specimen of Tebesan Lenny. Gotta look this up. What the hell is this? So it's a cicada. It's a very specific cicada. And 23 human teeth in a cardboard box. DNA testing on all gifts have been inconclusive. So it's just from random people, is what they're saying. You would think that it would be people at the wedding, but no. We've already had our fun at the ceremony. No, this is just some pick-me-ups from other places I've been. Isn't that fun? The bride and groom of a white level event will divorce on average 2 years after their wedding, usually as a result of domestic violence. Any children produced during their marriage will have cluster B personality disorder of life-threatening disfigurements. All married individuals attending attending the event will find themselves unable to have children despite the lack of a detectable changes to fertility-related biology. Sperm counts and sperm quality remain unaffected. Ovulation also remains unchanged and no genetic irregularities have been observed in eggs. Wow. The Foundation has arranged statistically significant number of hysterectomies for guests at white level events. The surgeries are prescribed and administered by third-party agents in the medical industry. Exhaustive biopsies, chemical analysis, and mechanical inspections of the extracted uteri and ovaries failed to yield any signs of abnormality. All children involved in white level events will avoid romantic relationships, and 9 out of 10 commit unaliving by the age of 18. Roughly half pull out their teeth until blood completely blocks the airway, and the other bite their own wrist until exsanguinated, until they die, basically. What's interesting so far by looking at both of these levels is that it's almost like Cousin Johnny is like radiating this kind of negative energy that affects things. It's almost like this radioactive hive kind of thing. And I'm wondering in a way is if it's trying to mimic kind of the cluttering of the cicadas, right? I don't know if you've ever heard cicadas out in the distance, but it's all succumbing. It's all around you. It's rippling. The sound ripples through the air, and it feels like it's kind of like going through your head and shaking you up. And I'm wondering if this kind of effect has the same thing with its energy is flowing through the room, and it affects all these people in such a negative way. Not only does it affect it in such a negative way, I mean, it's killing bloodlines. It's infecting these families, and it's completely seizing bloodlines. It's completely ruining people. But then not only does it ruin itself, but in ways, I mean, with how corrupted these people get, you're talking about how does it affect other people? You know what I mean? God forbid these people date anybody else. I mean, there's domestic violence that's happening. A lot of these people unaliving themselves and everything. How does that repercussion affect other people? And also, if you have a kid that, let's say one of these people did have a kid and they survived and it dated someone else, is that new prey for Cousin Johnny? Are these things marks for him or it to plague itself into other kinds of situations? It's horrifying. Horrifying! Which lastly, we go into our black level event. Black level events are notable in that any attempt to disrupt the event through any means results in the actor becoming a participant in the event. Now let's just hold on. What the hell does that even mean? So what that's saying is that if you found your way trying to stop anything happening in a black level event, by proxy, you would now be affected as well. You would be a part of the event as well. Currently, there exists no way to stop or end a black level event. Any attempts of barring an SCP-2852 instance from a church or funeral home results in an SCP-2852 simply appearing in a pew. Go ahead and show an image of a pew up on screen. That's what a pew is. Not enough people know what a pew is. You know what I mean? The black level event, these are funerals. We're hand in hand with death, which is weird because so far, actually, both have been the birth of life, right? We're talking about the birth of, you know, your soul with a baptism, the cleaning of it in a blue level event. And then in a white level event, it's the joining of people. It's the start of a new life. It's the birth of a relationship, a birth of a beautiful family, right? At a white level. But now, this is a finite end in death. And I have a feeling this is going to be the most brutal one. During a black level event, SCP-2852 will take the place of a eulogizer. And even if one was not scheduled to speak during the mass, so even if no one was like, are you guys going to do any eulogies? Nah, we're not going to do it. He'd be like, oh, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, into the mic. Bye-bye-bye. Hello. Hello, Vietnam. The speech as any vocalization by SCP-2852 will be nonsensical with no patterns being found. However, as the subject speaks, the individuals closest to the departed will open the casket and produce a long knife. Why do we do this? Who the hell am I trying to help here? People having funerals? Are you supposed to not have funerals now? Ugh. My word. The knives produced during a black hole event are not seen before the event and disappear after the event. The individual then exsanguinate themselves, normally from the wrist, but there have been instances where individuals have slit their throats. So they're slicing their wrists and throats open. In turn, 2 by 2, each attendant will use the knife to pour their blood into the casket. Children too young to exsanguinate themselves are helped by adults. Oh my God. How crazy would that be, dude? Imagine seeing everybody get up in a line, slit their wrists, and then just, like, it's just gallons and gallons of blood. And then a child's like, I can't reach it, Mommy. And she's just like, shut up, you little bitch, and picks her up and slices her own wrist. My God. Ugh. Despite many losing enough blood to result in death, no physical effects are seen in the participants. SCP-2852's speech eventually turns into a song, the adult male, cicada. All participants will respond with the same call. Despite the song of cicada being limited to the male, SCP-2852 will stand at the pulpit until each individual has bled themselves and then will walk to the casket and vomit a mixture mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead specimen of cicadas. It is currently unknown how SCP-2852 instances are able to hold the mixture within themselves due to the lack of cavity of sufficient size in its body. I mean, that's true. How are they able to hold that when they have no organs? You know what I mean? It's kind of it's like almost like they're just like mixture sacks. It's almost like they're little mixture sacks. And the whole thing too, it kind of reads almost like a Jim Jones Last Sermon kind of thing, right? Almost very like doomsday prophetic. He's up there at the pew giving his eulogy, and everybody is just kind of going up, having these horribly physical, traumatizing events. I mean, like killing themselves in front and putting the blood in the deceased coffin. When all of a sudden they have no physical repercussions of it. They just kind of sit back down. They just bleed to death until he gets up and throws up. Which once finished, the funeral mass will go on as normal, and the casket filled with blood and SCP-2852 vomit will be taken to the cemetery and lowered into the earth, as is normal for a Catholic or Anglican funeral service. Black level events will normally end here. Wow. So it's almost like as the death rite is completely done and as this ritual is finally done, people snap out of it and they probably pass away. So probably at the place where the thing is buried, probably tons of dead people. If a family gathering was planned to take place after the funeral, SCP-2852 will attend. Oh, how nice. He won't show up for after the baptism or anything else, but after the funeral, he will show up. That's pretty nice. SCP-2852 will, once all individuals affected have come to the location, vomit a similar mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead cicada into a bowl. This mixture will be primarily eaten by the affected children. After this has been eaten, SCP-2852 will give another speech of nonsensical words without patterns, strip itself, and lay upon a table. Oh my god. The participants will then eat SCP-2852 flesh until there is nothing left. During this, SCP-2852 will still vocalize, even when suffering from mortal injuries. Participants have been known to carry on friendly conversations with SCP-2852 while eating it. Children unable to chew whole food properly will be fed mouth to mouth by caregivers. You're sitting there talking about, honestly, Johnny, seriously. It's like he's sitting there, people are ripping out, which is, he has no organs, so it's just like eating its skin and like the muscle tissues, right? And they're just like, no, seriously, where did you put the glove that Uncle Terry gave you? We need to know, come on. And he's just like,
I'm not going to tell you. Whatever. You'll have to go to the house and see sometime.
Just like getting fucking tore apart. They're just like, okay. All right, Johnny, take care. Well, I'm going to circle back at you. This conversation is not over.
He's like, thank you, Greg.
All participants of a black level event will break from their family either through unaliving, moving, or divorce. Every individual involved in an event will be rendered sterile. Domestic violence and participants of black level events will usually be of a cannibalistic nature, resulting in the death of both individuals. 6 out of 10 children involved will attempt to murder one or both of their parents before they turn 18. Wow. Which, this is what we found. This is what the data shows. The SCP-2852, Cousin Johnny, is a cicada-esque biological creature that can take the shape of a human being, but it does implement a lot of the cicada attributes, right? It almost feels like a bug kind of creature humanoid, which is really interesting. Not having much organs, it's like a negative tome exerting all of this evil energy. And not only does it affect people in the present, but it also affects the offsprings that they have, almost curdling people from the inside until they expel it out. Almost to just waste away. There is no getting around it. If you're around this thing, it is extremely, I mean, you're fucked. And that is SCP-2852, Cousin Johnny. For SCP, this is legitimately horrifying. If you ever looked back through your catalog of family photos and you see that somebody's kind of always out of frame, who knows? Maybe you were affected by SCP-2852. And maybe, who even knows? Maybe your Cousin Johnny that you love talking to so much is a bit more demented than you think, after all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay safe. And also, be sure to suggest any other SCPs you want us to read in the future and talk about. This was a lot of fun. So please leave your suggestions below. There's thousands and thousands, and I think we plan on doing many more. So until then, we will catch you next time.